Something unusual is happening in the Catholic Church, and it's unfolding very early in the papacy of Pope Leo, just weeks after his election. Attention has already turned to how different parts of the churches, especially in Germany, are responding to his leadership. What we are seeing is more than just commentary or speculation. Careful narrative is already being built by media outlets connected to the German bishops. They are working hard to present Pope Leo in a specific way. The image being shared is one of a calm and balanced man. They describe him as someone who avoids dramatic moves, someone who prefers dialogue over confrontation, someone who listens more than he speaks. This narrative is not just appearing once or twice, it's showing up across many platforms. Repeated in interviews, news reports, and articles, the message is clear. This is a pope who doesn't stir the waters, who won't make waves, and who wants to bring calm after stormy years. On the surface, that might sound like a welcome change. But when we look closer, something doesn't quite add up. It's only been about 6 weeks since Pope Leo was elected. That's barely enough time for most of the world to learn his name, let alone define his leadership style. And yet certain groups already seem eager to tell us exactly who he is, and who he is not. Some say he is a moderate, someone who doesn't push too hard in one direction or the other. But others, including people who claim to have known him personally, suggest that this may not be the full picture. They hint that he may be more firm in his beliefs than is currently being shown, that he may, in fact, lean more toward tradition than many assume. This contrast between public image and private conviction has created uncertainty. The situation in Germany is especially revealing. The bishops there, while praising Pope Leo's calm nature, have also made it clear that they will resist certain parts of his leadership. In fact, they have openly said they have done the same with several popes before him. This includes resistance going all the way back to Pope Pius XII, during and after World War II. It's a bold position. It raises serious questions about unity and obedience within the Church. Why would bishops praise the Pope's character, while at the same time preparing to oppose him? The answer might lie in the direction they hope the Church will take. For years, many in the German hierarchy have pushed for deep reforms changes in teaching, discipline, and structure. They believe the Church must modernize and become more flexible. But if Pope Leo is not willing to follow that path, then they may see resistance as their only option. To support their views, they've pointed to stories and comments from respected figures. Like an Augustinian monk named Father Dominic. In a recent interview, Father Dominic described his personal experiences with Pope Leo both before and after his election. He recalled a visit Pope Leo made to their convent in Vienna while he was still a cardinal. After celebrating Mass, the future pope didn't leave quickly. Instead, he stayed to talk with the people, listened to them, and took time to be present. This behavior, according to Father Dominic, was typical. He said it showed how much the Pope cares for individuals. Later, during Pope Leo's first public address as Pope, Father Dominic noticed how deeply moved he was by the crowd. At one point, he seemed close to tears. The monk believed this showed that the Pope truly feels the weight of his responsibility. Stories like these are powerful. They show us a Pope who is gentle, respectful, and compassionate. A man who leads not by command, but by connection. Yet, when these personal moments are placed alongside the broader media narrative in Germany, they start to look like part of a larger strategy. A plan to shape the public's view of the Pope in a very specific way. Whether that image is fully accurate or only partially true remains to be seen. So far, Pope Leo's tone has been quiet and respectful. He has not used strong or critical language in his public statements. In a recent message to priests, instead of offering correction, he focused on gratitude. He thanked them for their work and encouraged them to remain faithful. This is quite different from the style of Pope Francis, who often used sharp words when addressing problems or divisions within the Church. Pope Leo, by contrast, seems to prefer peace over provocation. But again, tone is not the same as position. Just because a leader speaks softly doesn't mean he has weak beliefs. In fact, many leaders throughout history have been firm in conviction. While gentle in speech, still, people are paying close attention to every move. One of the most closely watched issues involves Cardinal Victor Manuel Fernandez, who currently leads the Vatican's doctrinal office. Before Pope Leo's election, there were rumors that he might be replaced. Some hoped a new pope would take a different approach to the church's teaching and discipline. But as of now, Cardinal Fernandez remains in place. Whether he will continue in that role is something the church is waiting to see. Any changes may become clear by the end of the summer. While some see Pope Leo's calm style as a good thing, others are more cautious. In Germany, several influential voices have expressed unease. These are not random critics. They include theologians, bishops, and public figures who have long pushed for sweeping change within the church. They worry that a moderate pope one, who listens but doesn't push for reform, may slow down their agenda. One article in a well-known Catholic outlet in Germany and Austria quoted Cardinal Walter Kasper, a longtime voice in church debates. The article called Pope Leo a man of the middle. According to Cardinal Kasper, this quality helped the Pope get elected. Said that Pope Leo was able to earn trust from both sides in the College of Cardinals. He didn't appear too conservative or too liberal. This balance, Kasper argued, is a strength. He believes the church needs someone who can bring unity at a time when deep divisions are being felt around the world. Kasper himself has held major roles in the church, including president of the Pontifical Council for Promoting Christian Unity. He believes that Pope Leo's ability to bring people together will be key in the years ahead. Kasper also pointed out that Pope Leo seems very comfortable with modern life. He uses technology. He knows how to communicate with people of different ages and cultures. He even enjoys everyday things like driving. These details may seem small, but Kasper believes they show a pope who can connect with today's world and help the church do the same. At the same time, Kasper drew a comparison with Pope Francis. He said Francis was more spontaneous and personal, while Pope Leo tends to work with a team and values planning. This more organized approach could shape how he runs the Vatican and works with church leaders. Kasper said this difference may be helpful, especially after years of tensions between the Pope and the Roman Curia. Despite these hopeful comments, the early signs of division remain. The German bishops in particular have said they are ready to push back. This is not new. They resisted Pope John Paul II. They resisted Pope Benedict XVI, and they even resisted Pope Francis, though he allowed many of the reforms they had requested. Now, they appear ready to continue that resistance with Pope Leo. This long-standing opposition goes back decades. After World War II, some German clergy began to regret their silence during the conflict. In response, they called for big changes in how the church operates. That spirit of reform helped shape later events, including the Second Vatican Council. Since then, Germany has often been a center of theological innovation and debate. A recent article by a German theologian raised a direct question. Why does every pope seem to clash with the German bishops? Is it about doctrine? Is it about authority? Or is it simply that Germany has taken a different path from Rome? Whatever the reason, the theologian warned that the church should prepare for years, possibly decades of conflict if things do not change. Pope Leo is still very early in his role. He turns 70 later this year, which makes him younger than many of his recent predecessors. If his health remains strong, he could lead the church for a long time, maybe 20 years or more. But the length of a papacy is never the main issue. What really matters is how he leads, what choices he makes, and how he responds to the challenges now in front of him. At this moment, those challenges are many. There are theological questions, moral debates, social divisions, and disagreements over liturgy and tradition. There is also the deeper question of unity. Can the church remain one body when its members disagree so strongly? And can the Pope lead not just by holding the center, but by giving clarity and truth where it is most needed? One thing is certain, the coming months will matter. They will begin to show us who Pope Leo really is, not just in how he speaks, but in what he decides. The church around the world will be watching. In Germany, with all its influence and energy, will likely remain at the heart of the discussion.